Hello again, Garland ISD family. I hope that everyone is doing well today. My name is Ramona Morin Aguilar, and I'm Director of Family and Community Engagement. Thank you so much for joining us. Please chat with us while you're watching. My team is here to answer your questions, and we would love to hear from you. Last week, we talked about managing stress. One of my big takeaways was to limit the amount of time I spend watching the news. This is really hard, but I continue to work on this. This week, we're going to talk about managing the behavior of our kiddos. It is so stressful being a parent. People often say that kids didn't come with an instructions manual, but I say parents are always the experts when it comes to their child. You know them better than anyone else, and you're always there for them. But now that everyone is at home all day, there are some new challenges. I've seen all the funny posts and pictures on social media saying that all kids have been expelled after the first week of learning at home. I've also seen the post that all teachers deserve a huge raise for having all the patience in the world to be with kids all day. But all kidding aside, what are some ways we can help our children manage their behavior? I'm so glad you tuned in today because we have the experts here to help you. I know that this is a stressful time, but together we can get through this.
Hi, I'm Lisa Olson with the Garland ISD Guidance and Counseling Department. Our responsive services team has come together to create videos of people and how they're coping during this difficult time. You may be a parent who's at home trying to work, or you might be a student who's trying to complete schoolwork in a brand new way. Regardless of what your challenges are, there are ways that you can cope that will help things be better. We can't change our circumstances entirely, but we can certainly do things to make things better to care for ourselves and those around us. We hope you find this information useful.
Hi, I'm Paul Moore, and I'm a responsive services counselor with the Garland Independent School District. These are really difficult times we're going through right now with the coronavirus, so what I'd like to do is ask some of my friends who are parents and students what they've been doing to deal with the coronavirus and the isolation and quarantine. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Melissa Mork. Not only is she a professor and an author, but she's also the mother
Hey, Paul. My 15-year-old and I, we try to keep our distance quite a bit during the day just because he's doing online school and I'm doing online teaching. So he has his dedicated space and I have mine. But when we are together, we try to laugh as much as possible. We both love stand-up comedy. We watch a lot of funny YouTube videos. We watch funny movies. We send memes back and forth through Instagram. And I just try to make it a high priority that we laugh as much as possible together. Since his dad died a couple of years ago, life has been hard enough. And now with this whole pandemic, we need to laugh as much as we can. So together, we try to find the fun.
While we can't do things like play basketball or some of the other activities that are contact sports, we still can exercise. And some people find it useful to ride a bike or walk or take a jog. All these things you can still do. You just got to keep your distance from others.
Sometimes when you're stressed, you just need to go outside and take a bike ride.
So, when life puts you in a bubble, think outside the bubble. Pop it.
One of the things I like to do to relieve stress is play with my dog.
Hi, this is Terry Holloman, Responsive Services Counselor, and I like to get outside for self-care. I've got to get out every single day and literally go fly a kite.
I'm really trying to get some exercise, and it's not always easy, but thankful for the good weather It's kind of nice to see people out in the neighborhood. People seem to be real appreciative of just human contact 6 feet away. So it's refreshing this morning. I'm happy, grateful for that. Try dance in the kitchen.
Because she's doing so much schoolwork through the devices, I'm trying to limit her screen time otherwise and encouraging her fun time to be playing or going outside. I know for a lot of my friends who are working out of the house and maybe don't have all the support they need, at sometimes your kid might be watching TV a lot more than they usually do. And I think the stress of feeling guilty about that is not what we need right now. So I think it's important for every family to find the balance.
There are things around us in our own homes that we could use to distract ourselves, to entertain ourselves, maybe to accomplish or finish. Maybe before, when we were so busy rushing to some event, some activity, sometimes parents and students are leaving school rushing to this activity, and another day it's this activity. And sometimes I hear parents and students talk about they don't even have time to get things finished that they need to get finished at the house. Isolation and quarantine time during these difficult times give opportunity to not only focus on those things that maybe you've been putting off or haven't had time to take care of, but also put creativity and inspiration. I think Wes pointed out the opportunity to use things that might seem as a chore, like schoolwork, such as playing an instrument, which he also enjoys, can also be something that you can practice on and enhance your skills. I started taking guitar lessons just not too long ago, and I've had extra time since I'm not having to drive anywhere just to practice on guitar. And the good thing about guitar lessons or any music lessons is you can take them online. There are instructors who can meet through Zoom or Skype, and they can offer lessons. Obviously, I have a lot of practice to do, and I'll be using this for a lot of practice.
So everyone has their own way of coping. You may find it useful to ride a bike or exercise, while another person might think cooking is a way that they cope best. Whatever it is you do, please be sure to take care of yourself. Remember, the Guidance and Counseling Department is here to help you if you need it. You can find our information on the Garland ISD website at garlandisd.net. Before I leave, I'd like to remind you of Wellness Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, your school counselors and responsive services counselors are working together to present various topics regarding mental health and ways to deal with the current circumstances. Topics include everything from coping to depression and signs to look for. Contact your responsive services counselor or your school counselor to find out more about Wellness Wednesdays. And remember, stay well, take care, and reach out to the Guidance and Counseling Department
Well, hello, GISD family. Hello, I hope you all are well. I'd like to introduce myself to those of you that were not able to join us last week. My name is Katrina Spotsville, and I work in the Student Services Department. I'm really excited to come to you today to talk to you about some more stress management tips that I hope that'll help you as we go through these challenging times. For those of you that were not here last week, I will recap just a tidbit so that you are aware of some of the tips that we talked about last week. I gave 5 tips last week. The first tip was meditation. I gave a few apps that can kind of help with meditation, which were the Calm app and the Stop, Think, and Breathe app. Also mentioned mindfulness, which is basically centering yourself and being in the present. There are apps for all of these different types of meditation. Number 2 is journaling. I talked about using a reflective journal to get all those toxic thoughts out, all of those worrisome thoughts that may be, all up in your mind. So a reflection journal, it's good to use so that you can get those thoughts out and maybe reflect on them and process them later. The third one from last week is staying active, getting out there, moving. I know that we have a lot of restrictions on us, but exercising in the house, doing some jumping jacks, maybe going to your backyard to exercise a bit, or even just taking a walk around the neighborhood. Remember social distancing, but just taking a 10-minute, 15-minute walk around the neighborhood, around the block can also help to get you moving and helping you to feel better. Okay, fourthly, I talked about organizing your space, organizing your environment. It creates a sense of predictability. It gives you a sense of having control over some things or something in your life. And it moves you from chaos to calm. So organizing your space is another quick tip. And finally, from last week, limiting your TV time. I know in this day and time, we all want to stay abreast of what is going on. I know some people are having the news channel on all day long, but what happens is after you've heard it 1 or 2 times, it just simply recycles. And what happens is you're feeding yourself that information internally, which can just automatically cause anxiety and stress. So limiting your TV time to maybe once or twice a day, just so that you're staying abreast of what is going on and staying knowledgeable of what is going on in the world. Okay, so those were our 5 tips from last week. So now at this point, we're going to shift and move to our tips for this week. Now this week, I only have 4 tips for you, but they're very practical, and I think that you find them useful, or at least I hope you'll find them useful. So the first stress management tip for this week is doing something you enjoy every day, whether it be singing, whether it be dancing, whether it be painting, whether it be gardening, mowing the lawn, anything that you enjoy that would kind of give you some fulfillment while we're stuck inside. I know for me, I love to sing, and so I just go around the house singing and singing some of my favorite tunes and that kind of thing. I even listen to music. It's very uplifting and inspiring, so maybe that's something you could try. Okay, our second tip for this week would be maintaining a healthy diet. Eating healthy, eating things that are going to make you feel alive, like fruits and vegetables and, nuts and all those kinds of things. I know sometimes for some people, when they're under a lot of stress, they deal with stressful eating or stress eating or emotional eating. And if you are prone to emotional eating, it's a good idea to kind of have some healthy snacks on hand. As I mentioned before, just fruits, vegetables, nuts, having those things near you so that you're not snacking on things that are unhealthy, Also, just kind of having those things or meals kind of prepared so that you'll have, healthy things to pull right out of the fridge to kind of help the refrigerator to help you with that. The third thing I want to talk about would be, the third thing I want to discuss would be connecting with others. I can't stress how important it is to connect with others. I know we have to be kind of creative in how we connect with others during this time that we're in, but if you have your phone, using FaceTime, you could also use Google Meets. You could just use a traditional telephone, just picking up the phone and calling somebody, checking in and say, hey, how you doing? And just chatting about positive things and things that are uplifting, things that are inspiring, just good things, some of the good things that are going on. So staying connected to others and not isolating is very, very important. Talking to people, communicating with people, talking to a neighbor, waving at neighbors, those kinds of things kind of help you to stay connected and grounded during these times. Okay, the fourth and final thing I wanted to talk to you guys today about would be getting enough sleep. It sounds practical enough, but a lot of people aren't getting enough sleep, which in turn causes stress. When you're not getting enough sleep, it could offset your mood. It could cause you to be impatient. It could cause you to be, it could cause increased anxiety, and it causes stress, to be totally honest. But getting enough sleep, again, rejuvenates you. It helps you have a clear mind. It helps you to be sharp. And that's basically what we want. So the National Sleep Foundation has some recommendations for getting enough sleep, or it's based on your age. So for adults and young adults, the Sleep Foundation actually recommends getting between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. 7 to 9. That's a lot. I know most adults, I know a lot of my friends, they'll say, I'm lucky if I get enough, about 6 hours of sleep. Okay, so, but the foundation recommends between 7 to 9. For teenagers, the Sleep Foundation recommends getting between 8 to 10 hours per night. And I know most teens probably get it between 5 or less. They're probably up on their phone and things like that. But the recommendation would be between 8 to 10 hours to kind of eliminate stress and to feel good and to be able to be sharp and rejuvenated. For school-age kids or school-age children, the recommendation is getting between 9 to 13 hours of sleep per night. And then for preschool children, the recommendation is between 10 to 13 hours per night. And I know that sounds like a lot, and I know none of us can do it perfectly, but I guess in the range would kind of help, and getting as close as possible to the recommended amount of hours of sleep would be helpful in managing your stress. Now, another good thing to do when you're trying to get rest and you're trying to get sleep would be to turn off your phone, to disconnect from social media a couple hours before going to bed, or just 30 minutes before going to bed. It can kind of help to calm you down and help you to soothe or self-soothe. Another thing would be maybe reading a good book, something that's relaxing, turning on some peaceful music, kind of like the music I have in the background, but having some peaceful music and that sort of thing, drinking some tea. All those things are kind of soothing and relaxing and kind of get you in the mode of of getting some restful and good sleep. Also, in terms of the videos, YouTube has tons of really great videos, just instrumental music and classical music, any kind of music that you like, whatever relaxes you, that's what you can use. So check that out when you get a chance to. So those are the 4 tips for this week. All right, and I'm gonna go back over them real quickly because I know I talked a lot, but I wanna make sure you get them and you know exactly what to do. Okay, so the first one will be starting the day or throughout the day doing something that you enjoy, a hobby of sorts, something that makes you happy. that you can do indoors. Number 2, maintaining a healthy diet, keeping those snacks on hand, meal prepping, and so that you have your meals right there so that when you get ready to eat, you have something right there handy and healthy. 3, connecting with others. That would be via FaceTime, the traditional phone, Google Meet, talking to friends, connecting. And that way you can see faces. And 4thly, getting enough sleep. I gave you the National Sleep Foundation's recommendations for all ages. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to land somewhere in that range. And again, I thank you for allowing me to share with you these quick tips. Well, I thought they were kind of quick, but for allowing me to share with you these tips, I hope that they will help you. And if nothing more, take them and add them to your stress management toolbox. I look forward to talking to you soon. Stay safe, enjoy your life, stay stress-free,